Vegas wasn't supposed to change my life. It was just a weekend trip, a chance to escape the monotony of my job, my messy relationship with Liam, and the constant pressure of being the responsible one in my group of friends. The city buzzed with neon lights, glittering promises, and the reckless energy of people who came here to forget themselves for a night. I wanted to do the same. By the time midnight rolled around, I was already several drinks in, swaying to music that made the floor pulse beneath my heels. My friends had disappeared into the crowd, but I didn't care. For once, I wasn't thinking about tomorrow. That's when I saw her. She was leaning casually against the bar, her dark hair catching the glow of neon pink lights, her lips curved into the kind of smirk that could disarm anyone in seconds. Her eyes found mine, and suddenly the noise around me faded. I don't know if it was the alcohol or fate, but something pulled me toward her. I slid into the seat next to her, and within minutes we were laughing as though we had known each other for years. Her name was Aria. She had this magnetic presence, confident, playful, and just a little dangerous. She teased me about my sloppy dancing, I teased her about her cocktail choice, and somewhere between shared shots and whispered confessions, the air between us grew charged. Her hand brushed mine, light as a spark, but the jolt it sent through me was undeniable. I should have pulled back, reminded myself I had a boyfriend waiting for me back home. But I didn't. I let myself fall deeper into her orbit, drunk not just on tequila but on her. By the time we stumbled out of the club, the streets of Vegas were alive with chaos, people laughing, lights flickering, strangers shouting joyously into the night. Aria grabbed my hand and pulled me toward a glowing sign that read, "Wedding Chapel, marry tonight, love forever." I laughed so hard my stomach hurt, but she looked at me with that mischievous sparkle and said, "Why not? What's one more crazy story for Vegas?" I should have said no. I should have walked away. But the thrill of her hand in mine, the wild freedom of the night, and the ache inside me for something different, all of it silenced the voice of reason. And so we went inside. The chapel smelled of roses and cheap perfume. A man dressed like Elvis grinned at us, ready to officiate. We were giggling uncontrollably, barely able to stand still, but we said the words anyway. We exchanged cheap plastic rings, and when the moment came, she kissed me. It wasn't a clumsy drunk kiss. It was soft, deliberate, and electrifying. My heart pounded against my ribs, my head spun, and in that moment, nothing else existed, not Liam, not my life back home, not the consequences that would surely come. There was only her, only us, and the terrifying, exhilarating truth that I had just married a stranger in Las Vegas. The first thing I felt was the pounding in my skull, the kind of hangover that made every heartbeat echo in my head. The second thing I noticed was the sunlight filtering through the hotel curtains, too bright, too real. I groaned, rolling over to shield my face, and that's when I froze. She was there, Aria, lying next to me in the bed, tangled in the sheets, her dark hair spilling across the pillow like ink. Her lips were slightly parted, her chest rising and falling in the soft rhythm of sleep. For a long moment, I just stared, my mind scrambling to piece together the fragments of the night before. The laughter, the drinks, the chapel, the vows, the kiss. My hand instinctively went to my finger, and there it was, a cheap silver ring, shining in the morning light. Panic shot through me. My stomach flipped as I sat up, pressing my palms to my temples. What had I done? Married? To a stranger? To her? A sharp wave of guilt crashed over me as Liam's face flickered in my mind. He was probably waking up in our apartment back home, sipping his coffee, scrolling through his emails, completely unaware that his girlfriend had just become someone else's wife. Before I could spiral further, Aria stirred. She stretched like a cat, her eyes fluttering open, and when she caught me staring, a lazy grin spread across her face. "Morning, wife," she said softly, her voice still husky with sleep. Her teasing should have made me laugh, but it only made my heart race. I tried to answer, but my words caught in my throat. She pushed herself up on one elbow, studying me carefully. "You don't remember, do you?" I remember enough," I admitted, my voice trembling. "The chapel, the vows, the ring." Arya chuckled and held up her own hand, showing off her identical ring. Guess we're official then. I should have been horrified, should have run out the door, but instead I found myself smiling despite the chaos inside me. There was something about the way she looked at me, like I wasn't just some drunk mistake. Like she actually saw me. For the next hour, we sat on the messy bed, piecing the night together like a puzzle. The laughter came easier than it should have. The way she teased me about almost tripping down the aisle, the way she mimicked the Elvis impersonator, it all made the guilt blur for a while. And when she reached over to tuck a strand of hair behind my ear, my whole body reacted. I knew I should leave. I knew I should go back to Liam, to the life I had built. But as Arya's fingers brushed mine, gentle and curious, I realized something terrifying. I didn't want to leave. Because deep down, under the hangover, the shock, and the guilt, it felt right. And that scared me more than anything. When I finally returned home from Vegas, it felt like walking into a life that no longer fit me. Liam greeted me at the door with his usual distracted smile, a quick kiss on my cheek before diving back into his laptop. I should have felt comfort in the routine, but instead, it felt suffocating. The walls of our apartment seemed smaller, the silence between us heavier. I unpacked my bag in a haze, carefully slipping the little plastic ring into the bottom of a drawer as if hiding it there could erase the truth. But I couldn't erase her. Arya's voice lingered in my mind like a song I couldn't turn off. Her laughter echoed in my head during meetings at work. Her texts lit up my phone late at night, each message tugging me deeper into something I wasn't ready to admit. At first, we joked about being accidental wives, sending each other ridiculous memes and laughing about our shared drunken fate. But quickly, the conversations grew deeper. She asked about my childhood, about my dreams, about the little things no one else ever cared to know. And I found myself telling her everything. With Liam, I always felt like I was performing, like I had to be the girlfriend he wanted, calm and supportive, never too much, never too loud. With Arya, I felt free. She made me feel seen, like every messy, complicated part of me was worth loving. And that terrified me, because the more I let her in, the more I realized how empty my relationship with Liam had become. One evening, Liam and I were sitting on the couch, half watching a movie. His hand rested on mine, but it felt foreign, almost forced. I caught myself thinking about how different it felt when Arya's fingers brushed against me, how alive it made me. I pulled my hand away, pretending to grab my phone, my chest tightening with guilt. How could I sit here, playing the role of loyal girlfriend, when my heart was somewhere else, someone else? The secret weighed on me like a stone. Every time Liam asked how my trip was, I smiled and said it was fun, biting back the truth. Every time he kissed me goodnight, I closed my eyes and thought of her. And every time I slipped into bed beside him, I felt the ring's absence like a ghost on my finger. I wanted to tell him. I wanted to be honest, to rip the bandage off and confess that Vegas wasn't just a blur of lights and alcohol, that I had found something real in the most unexpected place. But I couldn't. I wasn't ready to face the fallout, the hurt in his eyes, the collapse of the life we had built. So I kept the secret buried, whispering my truths only to Arya through late-night calls. And slowly, painfully, I realized something undeniable. This wasn't a mistake anymore. I was falling in love with her. The breaking point came quietly, almost unremarkably. Liam and I were sitting at the kitchen table, eating takeout Chinese food in silence. He was scrolling through his phone, nodding absently as I tried to make small talk. I looked at him, at the man I had called my boyfriend for years, and all I felt was distance. Not anger, not even sadness, just the hollow ache of knowing I didn't belong here anymore. Later that night, when he fell asleep beside me, I slipped out of bed and sat on the couch in the dark. My phone buzzed in my hand. It was Arya. Just seeing her name light up the screen made my chest tighten in a way I couldn't deny. I answered, whispering into the quiet. "Hey," she said softly, her voice a comfort I hadn't known I needed. "Hey," I whispered back, my throat thick. We talked for hours. About nothing. About everything. She told me about her day, about a new song she couldn't stop listening to. And then, somewhere between her laughter and the silence that followed, she said the words that broke me open. "We don't have to be a mistake." I froze. My heart raced. Tears welled in my eyes, because deep down, I had been waiting for someone to say that, for someone to remind me that love didn't have to be hidden, that it didn't have to be wrong. I thought about the night in Vegas, the way her lips had felt against mine, the way she made me laugh until my ribs hurt, the way she looked at me like I was more than enough. I thought about Liam, about the quiet indifference that had become our normal, about how small I felt when I was with him. And for the first time, the choice felt clear. The next morning, I pulled the little ring from the bottom of my drawer and slipped it onto my finger. It wasn't expensive, it wasn't even pretty, but it meant something. It was a reminder of the night that changed everything, of the person who reminded me what it felt like to be alive. That evening, I sat across from Liam and told him the truth. My hands trembled, my voice broke, but the words came out anyway. His shock turned to anger, then to disbelief. I didn't blame him. I had broken his trust, his heart. But I couldn't keep living a lie. Leaving was hard. It was messy. But it was also the most honest thing I had ever done. When I finally met Arya again, this time sober, this time deliberate, she reached for my hand, and it felt like coming home. No neon lights, no alcohol, no chaos, just us. And in that moment, I knew I hadn't just married a stranger in Vegas. I had found the love I never knew I was searching for.